This is HD and welcome to this week's edition of the Top 10 Highlights. Let's go ahead and get right into the action. At number 10, we have Minigun versus Tarn. This is game number 1. Notice Minigun's awesome control of his force fields here, despite both players having similar army sizes. The force field splitting apart bit by bit of that Terran army, and Minigun's able to dice that army away. And now you guys can see it looks like he is stemming his forces around the side, but the force fields are of course keeping the Terran army at bay, and it looks like Minigun able to force the GG out of Tarn. Coming in at number 9 is Zack versus Destiny here, and this is an amazing battle in the middle of Tal'Darim Altar. We can see that Zack with a massive Protoss army, but Destiny undeterred, using his mind control from the Infestors, but the Infestors absolutely getting destroyed by the Stalker Void Ray Colossus combo, and it looks like Destiny has to GG out. Coming in at number 8, a game between Nergy and Kiwikaki, and watch this impressive display of Zergling speed. It's going to wrap around the Zealots and the Stalkers, preventing the Zealots from even getting close to the Zerglings, and the rest of those speedlings are able to wrap those Stalkers around and take them out. Nergy, what an impressive display of roaches, speedlings, and the use of creep. He will be able to take this battle, and Kiwikaki must fall back to his natural. Next up, we have number 7 on the top 10 highlights. It is going to be between Vibe and Tarn. We can see the Terran player here pushing out with those tanks and Marines, trying to set up the light contain over the Zerg army's natural, but he is not having any of it, bringing the Banelings and Lings in and taking out the majority of the Terran army. Great defense here by the Zerg, and it looks like it forces Tarn to GG out. Coming in at number 6 is going to be a Terran versus Protoss between Kiwikaki and Straylock. We can see Straylock here is trying to pressure the front door of Kiwikaki's natural, but Kiwikaki having none of that, using his sentries to buy time, walling off both corridors into his natural, and of course Straylock here realizing, hey, I've got some dropships, going to go ahead and drop right into the main. Great elevator technique here, but Kiwikaki already all on top of that, using the Guardian Shield and all of his Stalkers and sentries to take out those Marines. And look at the force fields at the bottom of the ramp, bundling up 6 or so Marines together right there. That is a packaged present for Kiwikaki, and Kiwikaki will take that down. Great hold. Coming in at number 5 is going to be a game between Vibe versus Tarn, and notice the beautiful fungal growth from Vibe there. Vibe known so well for his Infestor play, taking out packs of Marines, able to take out Tarn. And next up on the top 10 highlights is number 4 between Nergy and Cloud. Now notice these bunkers are not filled up. However, they do force the funnel of the Ultras and the Lings, and the Ultras are unable to get next to those fragile and squishy Marines and Marauders. And unfortunately, as a result, it looks like Cloud's forces are going to be decimated. Next up on the top 10 highlights is a game between Laylash versus Range. This is number 3. We can see that Laylash is coming in here with a massive army of Roaches and Hydras. Range, though, using the Blinkstalker Micro to full effectiveness. It doesn't look like Laylash is using his Infestors very well at all, because he could be using the Fungal Growth to lock down those Stalkers. And it does look like he's finally able to get a couple of those Fungals off, but the Stalker's able to continue blinking out of harm's way. And a great concave by Range here, meaning he'll be able to do more DPS to those Hydras. And at the end of the day, it does look like Laylash is going to lose the majority of his army, and Range able to take that battle down handily. And coming up at number 2 is going to be game 1 between Indra and Minigun. Minigun coming in here with a lot of sentries and Stalkers, and that is so much force field potential from all those sentries, and Minigun uses them so well, splitting that Roach army apart. And it looks like Indra has to fall back. He just cannot engage. And there's so many force fields on the creep, preventing those Roaches and Lings from running in and attacking the Stalkers and sentries. And as Minigun continues his assault forward, it looks like the hatchery may be in danger. And it looks like another well-placed line of force fields preventing Indra's Roaches from coming in. This must be so frustrating for Indra as a player. Look at those Stalkers. They're blinking backwards from the front line, continuing to do damage in the back, and Indra must fall back. He has not enough Lings or Roaches to deal with these Stalkers, and Indra leaves the game. And coming in at number 1, it looks like Thorzane has a potentially very large army of Ghosts, but on paper, his army is so much weaker than this massive Protoss army coming out from Zack. So many Stalkers and Colossus, but the Colossus were cleaned up by the Vikings, and these Ghosts are actually doing very well for themselves, able to take out the entire Protoss army and push Zack back. Brilliant Ghost play by Thorzane. And that does it for this week's episode of the Top 10 Highlights. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. This is HD, signing out.